Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is February 1st, which means as part of the Counterfeit Kit Challenge design team, it is time to build new kits for the month. This month our hostess is Brand Jo, and she has boys, so she chose a kit that definitely does not include any pink or butterflies and very minimal flowers. I think there might be a couple in here, I can't quite remember. I did take a peek at this ahead of time, but let's go ahead and walk through our kit inspiration together, and then we'll take our thoughts and ideas and put together our own kits from our own stash. All right, here's an overview of the kit she chose, which is the November Rain kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and I will have links to all this if you want to go check out their site and even purchase things over there. But part of our group is to use the stash that you have on hand and just be inspired by things in the world. So if we dive in a little bit deeper to this kit, here is a larger look at the overview of the kit. So we have pattern papers in the background, we have a pack of ephemera die cut pieces, a stencil, an alpha set, some spray for mixed media, and then these all look like more parts of that die cut ephemera pack. All right, so if we take a deeper dive into the papers themselves, we do have this piece that is some cut aparts. So we have a yellow kind of distressed, it's not really plaid or checks, just kind of a geometric wood grain. I definitely love wood grain, so I will include that in my kits. This kind of looks watercolory paintery. We do have some plaid. This looks kind of like a construction diagram or a mechanical diagram. I don't know that I have anything like that in my stash. I'll have to see what I can do there. Some brick in blue, which is really interesting. I love a good stripe, and that looks like some more kind of mixed media paper. Now, I have to say right off the bat that because this is the November kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club, it definitely has that November color theme to it, and that is not really my thing. I'm not a big brown and orange person, so I'm going to lighten up the color palette for sure. But let's keep looking at the B-sides, because sometimes, and this is where, yep, there's a little bit of floral back there. Sometimes the B-sides will be a different vibe than the A-sides, and we have that going on. This is a much lighter color palette. We do have some greens, you know, you still get the yellows and oranges, more plaids and checks, more kind of distressed mixed media-y, more wood grain. This kind of reminds me of cork, so I might try and pull in some cork. We've got kind of a fabric-y looking paper print, and I used to have some pieces like that, but I don't think I have any left. And then a closer look at the embellishments for this kit, which is mostly the tags, alpha, and some stenciled mixed media. So I will incorporate all of those somehow. I do really love this little mushroom icon. If I could get it in a less of a fall vibe, I would love it. I mean, I've got mushrooms in my yard now in winter, so it depends on where you live. Okay. Oh, this is an add-on to the kit. If you're wanting more inspiration, another alpha set in wood grain, more mixed media, and then more of the seasonal appropriate die cut pieces. All right, so what I've noticed about this kit that I like some of the patterns, stripes, bricks, plaids. I definitely will add some mixed media and some ephemera pieces. And here actually is a look at that diagram paper. I do find that interesting. I don't own anything like that. We do have a project called Forgery on the 4th, where we go ahead and create our own products that we felt inspired by, yet don't own. So I'm thinking that might come in for my forgery this time around. All right, so with those thoughts in my head, I will go to my scrapbook space and start building my kit. All right, as I started pulling things, I realized I needed to pause and make a list because I was having a hard time just remembering things. And one thing I wrote down on my list that I didn't talk about was themes. And the inspiration had the theme of home and cozy as well as weather, although theirs was fall and mine is going to be winter. And then I started pulling. So I did pull this pink paper because it had a similar pattern to the yellow paper, and those are kinds of trade-offs that I make when I'm building a kit from inspiration. I do have this piece of paper, which is a Simple Stories trail mix paper, which I used trail mix in my January strawberry collection, but that paper didn't make the cut and it was still sitting on my desk. And I liked the green and oranges that were in it that could go with my kit. Now, I did say I'm going to lighten and brighten this kit, and you'll see how that works in the end. I just kind of zoomed past a whole bunch of wood grain paper because I have lots of it, and it will definitely be in my kit. I did find a piece of burlap paper, so that made it into my kit. I set aside colors that I didn't think were going to work, so I will eliminate those. Now, I am going to put stencils on my kit because that was part of the inspiration, and this white piece here, I'm going to save for my forgery, so I hope you will join me on the 4th to see what I do with the stencils and that piece of paper. I also found this old crepe paper collection from 2015 that had some good oranges in it, so while orange is not my favorite color, when I pair it with the right pairings, it works for me. So then the next thing I knew that I wanted was working on that weather, home, and cozy theme. And I remembered that I'd have this digital collection from Traci Reed called Hygge. And that's spelled Hygge. And it comes from, I think it's Danish? I can't quite remember. I'll pop it up on the screen. It comes from another culture of kind of hunkering down for wintertime in a place where it's definitely colder and has much longer nights. And so it had a color palette that worked for this. And despite it being a winter theme, it did include some of those oranges as part of its kind of naturey, outdoorsy theme. So I thought this was a perfect mashup to work for my kit. And here is what I'm talking about. It has some of those pine cones and snowflakes right along with florals. It's got the oranges and navies that I wanted to pick up from the inspiration kit. Although one of the papers in there looked closer to black, but it was bordering on navy, so that's where my brain goes. And then as I was looking through my Traci Reed collection, I did find some of these pieces, which is from a collection called Tempest, and it's actually a free collection. You have to do a little bit of work to get the 3 different parts of that free collection, but it is worth it if you're interested in using some digital supplies. Now, I print out the digital supplies, and she has embellishments that are intended to be print and cut out, and I do that on my Cricut machine, but you can always cut them out by hand. And I have a video talking about how to do all that. If you want to know more, I will link you up in the corner and in the show description. So with those 2 Traci Reed collections that had some of the colors and themes and moods going on, I am starting to narrow some things down. And again, my kit's going to end up being very big because I just have a hard time narrowing things down. I did set up a couple of pieces aside so that I can work with those more on my forgery video. So I have 2 ideas that I'm going to share with you on the 4th. And then I kept a lot of the stuff that I pulled. Now, you already saw some of these embellishments, but part of the reason why I chose that Traci Reed Tempest collection is because it had kind of a grumpy bad day theme to it, and I've been having a lot of those lately, and I believe in scrapbooking all of the parts of life, and I think it's time to tell some more of those stories to help provide some relief to me because I find it a bit therapeutic to work through that stuff. And then the collection kit there on the left is the Hygge collection, which is the warm, cozy, wintry collection. And because I have these 2 different themes going on in there, which I'd never intended to have that grumpy theme in there, but it's part of life as well. I'm going to call my kit, I'm going to title my kit this month Yin and Yang. And we always title our kits over at the Counterfeit Kit Club. So usually I don't mention it in the videos, but I do that on my blog because it's usually an afterthought for me. But I really was thinking about this as I was pulling things. All right, I did choose a couple of alphabets that are running low on vowels, and we'll see if those will even work to spell anything this time around, but I'm going to try and use them up. You can see those stencils were back, and then I have a spray mist in a navy color, as well as a plan to use a very light tanny brown ink pad. All right, I want to cover a couple of things that I skipped over real quickly, so let's look at these still photos. I definitely wanted to include some tag dies in my kit, which I couldn't find when I was filming, but here they are for the still photos. And I also wanted to put cork in my kit, which was inspired by a piece of the pattern paper. So while that was kind of outside of what the kit was, this is another adjustment I make when I'm building kits for me. And then the last thing that I kind of skipped past also leads into part of how I lightened and brightened this kit. This little cut apart sheet came out of that crepe paper collection, which I took just the one piece of orange paper out of, but this one has the wood grains and some pinks and some yellows that help lighten up the kit overall. And speaking of lightening and brightening, here is a comparison of my kit on the top and the inspiration papers, A sides and B sides on the bottom. And you can see by choosing lighter shades of orange, slightly lighter shades of the wood grain papers, including whites, and adding in pink, which works for me. I know it doesn't work for everyone, and including a bit more white. Those are all ways that I was able to bring a lighter touch to this kit. And that rounds off my kit for this month. So I thank you for joining me. I hope hearing some of my thought process on kit building will help you go to your stash and build your own kit. And if you want to join us at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, all the links are down below and you can come check us out. Until next time, which will be the 4th, have an artful day.